What to do, YouTube? B Kelly back again with another banger. Today's video is going to be about my draft grades of the first round of the NFL Draft 2020. And with the first pick of the 2020 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow out of LSU. This pick was not a surprise. I give this pick an A+ grade because Joe Burrow was the Heisman winner. He was the #1 quarterback going into this draft, and rightfully so. He was breaking records left and right, and he's a national champion. Can't argue with the stats. He was the #1 quarterback going into this draft. Enough said. The next player we're going to talk about is Chase Young, a.k.a. the Predator, from Ohio State. He got drafted by the Washington Redskins, and this was an amazing pick, also not a surprise. The Redskins really need him, and he is a force to be reckoned with. Chase Young is going to be breaking on the scene immediately, and he's going to be a star in my eyes. I gave him an A+ grade. And with the third selection, the Lions selected Jeff Okudah from Ohio State. This is, to me, the best cornerback in the draft. And, you know, the Lions lost Darius Slay, so I gave this an A grade, and I think he can break on the scene as well immediately and be really good from the start. The next player we're going to talk about is Andrew Thomas from Georgia. He got selected with a 4th overall pick by the New York Giants. I give this one a B- grade. Andrew Thomas is a very athletic and skilled big O-lineman. But to me, I felt like this was a surprise pick. I feel like there were other O-linemen that were better than him. But I feel like he'll be a good addition to that O-line for the Giants. The next player we're going to talk about is Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama, quarterback. With the 5th pick, he was taken by the Miami Dolphins. To me, I feel like this was a really good pick. And I feel like Tua has the potential to be the best quarterback out of this draft in the future. I really thought he was the best quarterback before he got hurt, but a question about this pick is, what will his ankles be like? Will he be able to stay healthy? And I give him an A- grade. With the 6th pick, the LA Chargers select Justin Herbert from Oregon. I think this was a good pick, and they do need a quarterback for say. They do have Tyrod Taylor, but is Tyrod Taylor really going to be a future quarterback for the Chargers? Don't get me wrong, Tyrod Taylor is a good quarterback, and he has the potential to be a good starter. But they do need a quarterback for the future, and Justin Herbert is that guy, and I was expecting this pick. I give this pick a B+ pick. With the 7th pick, the Carolina Panthers selected defensive tackle Derrick Brown from Auburn. I thought this was a really good pick, even though I thought they were going to choose Isaiah Simmons. It really wasn't a big surprise, because I thought Derrick Brown was going to go around that. And you know what? They got a very good defensive tackle from Auburn. Derrick Brown is a guy who's not afraid to get down in the trenches, and he's going to make the plays you want him to make. For this pick, I give him a B+ grade. With the 8th pick of the NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select linebacker Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons can play linebacker and safety, and he is very versatile. And I think this was an extremely good pick, especially with where they drafted him. I mean, he dropped a little bit from a top 4 pick to the 8th pick, and I think this is gonna work out for the best. And I gave this a grade of B+, and I think it's gonna work out for the future, and I think Isaiah Simmons is going to be a star. With the 9th pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars selected C.J. Henderson, a cornerback from Florida. This was an amazing pick. I gave this an A- grade because they really and desperately needed a cornerback, especially after trading away Jalen Ramsey and getting rid of A.J. Bouye. With the 10th pick, the Cleveland Browns selected Jedrick Wills Jr. I gave this an A- grade. This guy was a star at Alabama, and the Browns desperately need offensive line help. The 11th pick of the NFL Draft, the New York Jets selected offensive tackle Mekhi Becton from Louisville. I thought this pick made a lot of sense, and he dropped a little bit, but it was kind of expected after he failed a drug test. This guy is very athletic, and he has speed. He is a big boy, and he has speed, and he's a ginormous man, and I think he's going to help instantly with the Jets. I hope he has a really good NFL career. The Jets really needed an offensive lineman. I give this pick a B+ grade. With the 12th pick in the NFL draft, the Las Vegas Raiders selected Henry Ruggs III out of Alabama. This pick actually kind of surprised me. I thought he was the third best receiver in the draft, and I give this pick a B grade. I think he's going to be a very good addition to the Las Vegas Raiders, but I just thought Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb could have been better picks. With the 13th pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selected offensive tackle Tristan Wirfs from Iowa. I thought this pick was a no-brainer, and this was a perfect pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I gave this pick an A- grade, and this is what the Buccaneers needed. They needed to re-up on the offensive line, and they got one of the best offensive linemen in this draft class, and arguably the best one. He just dropped a little bit, and it was kind of surprising how he dropped all the way to 13 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. With the 14th pick, the 49ers selected Javon Kinlaw, defensive tackle from South Carolina. I thought this pick was an amazing pick, and that 49er defense is just going to get that much better with this lethal defensive tackle from South Carolina. I gave this pick an A- grade. With the 15th pick, the Denver Broncos selected wide receiver Jerry Jeudy from Alabama. This was an amazing pick. I gave this an A+ grade. You know what? The Broncos needed another receiver to go with Courtland Sutton since they lost Emmanuel Sanders just last season. And this was a perfect option. Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton, that is going to be a lethal duo. Bright futures ahead for the Denver Broncos. The 16th pick, the Atlanta Falcons selected cornerback A.J. Terrell from Clemson. I thought this was a pretty good pick. I gave it a B grade. He may have been a little early, but he is a pretty good cornerback and will help with the Atlanta Falcons because they do need help in that secondary position. With the 17th pick, the Dallas Cowboys selected wide receiver CeeDee Lamb out of OU. To me, I think CeeDee Lamb is the best receiver going into this draft, and the Dallas Cowboys stole him at pick number 17. Yes, CeeDee Lamb dropped all the way to pick number 17, and I give this pick an A+ grade. Him, Michael Gallup, and Amari Cooper all on the field together. You know what? The Cowboys, they have a bright future, but I still don't see them going to the Super Bowl anytime soon because they're not that good and the Cowboys suck. Yes, I do hate the Cowboys. With the 18th pick, the Miami Dolphins yet again have another pick in this draft, and they selected offensive tackle Austin Jackson from USC. I gave this a B+ grade. I think it is a smart pick, and I think it's going to help a lot with their offensive line and protecting Tua potentially for the future whenever he does take the starting position from Ryan Fitzpatrick. With the 19th pick, the Las Vegas Raiders selected Damon Arnette from Ohio State, cornerback. I think this was an okay pick. I give it a C+ grade. Arnette was very good as a Buckeye, but I think he was selected a little early, and the Raiders could have selected some better DBs, but I think it will turn out to be an okay pick for them, and he is a pretty good DB overall, but to me, it's a C+ grade. With the 20th pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars yet again have yet another pick in the first round, and they selected outside linebacker Clavon Chaisson from LSU. This guy was a star on that defense, and he was scary. He would make play after play. He would always be in your face, and he's not afraid to go down the trenches either to make the plays as well. This was a very good pick. I gave it a B grade, which I think is very good. And, you know, Jacksonville, they need help on the defense, which is hard to believe. I'm even saying that since their Saxonville days, but that was long ago, and that organization is falling apart with their ownership and managing, and the players are mad, people getting traded left and right, and it seems like it's not going to stop either. With the 21st pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select wide receiver Jalen Reagor out of TCU. This guy is a speed demon, and I think he'll be able to help out a lot with the Philadelphia Eagles wide receivers. I say that because the Eagles receivers this past season were hurt, and Nelson Aguilar has butterfingers. Yes, you heard that here first. Jalen Reagor will be a very good addition. I gave it a B+ grade. I think he'll help out almost immediately, but I gave him a B+ grade because of the next pick. He was picked ahead. With the 22nd pick, the Minnesota Vikings select Justin Jefferson. I give this an A+ grade. Justin Jefferson is an amazing wide receiver, and I think he's going to be able to help out immediately with the Vikings wide receiver situation since they lost Stephon Diggs. This was an amazing pick and a very underrated pick in this draft. With the 23rd pick, the LA Chargers select linebacker Kenneth Murray out of OU. I thought this pick was a very good pick, and I think he's going to help out with that defense a lot. I gave it a B+ grade. He helped out with OU's defense a lot. He was the anchor. He made it alive. He brought the spark. With the 24th pick, the Saints selected center Cesar Ruiz out of Michigan. I give this a C+ grade. They don't really need anything that much. They already have a stacked defense and a stacked offense. But this could be a good pick for the future, without a doubt. The 25th pick, the San Francisco 49ers selected Brandon Ayuk out of Arizona State. He is a receiver. I think this is a pretty good pick. I give it a B+ grade. I think he can help the wide receiver scene out quite a bit with the 49ers and help them contend for yet another Super Bowl and be yet another target for Jimmy G. With the 26th pick, the Green Bay Packers selected Jordan Love, quarterback out of Utah State. Now, I know a lot of people were surprised at this pick and thought it was kind of dumb, but I give this a B+ grade. Jordan Love has a lot of upside, and not only that, he will be the future quarterback for the Packers. Yeah, he'll have to sit a couple years, probably like 2 to 3 years behind Aaron Rodgers, but he gets to have that good mentorship from Aaron Rodgers. And this reminds me a lot of Aaron Rodgers when they had Brett Favre with the Packers. With the 27th pick, the Seattle Seahawks selected linebacker Jordan Brooks. Now, this was a big surprise to me. I thought Jordan Brooks would have been a day 2 selection, but it doesn't matter. I give it a B- grade. The Seahawks do need a little help with the linebacker spot. Just, a little more help with all-around linebacking group. But I gotta give this grade a B-. Jordan Brooks was pretty decent at Texas Tech. With the 28th pick, the Baltimore Ravens selected linebacker Patrick Queen out of LSU. I think this will help the defense a lot. Patrick Queen brings some very good energy and he's very physical. He is not afraid to lay someone out, and if you saw any LSU games, you could see why. He brings that energy, and he brings that energy out with the whole defense. When he does good, the whole defense does good, and he's a smart football player, and the Ravens need a starting caliber linebacker. With the 30th pick, the Miami Dolphins selected cornerback Noah Igbinoghene, cornerback from Auburn. I know I butchered his last name, okay? I don't know how to say it. Well, I think this pick was very good and gives them even more depth at that cornerback position, and he was a dog at Auburn, and he's an extreme athlete, and he's very fast. Yes, very fast, and I think him and Byron Jones is going to be a pretty good duo. He'll most likely be a slot corner, which is not bad, and I give this a B grade. With the 31st pick in the NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings selected cornerback Jeff Gladney from TCU. This guy is a ball hawk, and I gave this an A- grade. The Minnesota Vikings lost quite a bit of cornerbacks this offseason in free agency, which sucks. But they got a ball hawk and a guy who was very good all his career at TCU, and I think this is a very good pick. With the final pick of the first round of the NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs selected running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of LSU. Now, some people were scratching their heads at how he was the first running back selected, but I kind of like the pick. I mean, the Chiefs know what they're doing. I mean, they needed a running back, they drafted a running back, and this guy, he has that power, he has speed, and he can truck you. I think this is a pretty good pick. I'm going to give it a C+ overall, though, due to some of the people he was picked ahead. But I think he'll be a pretty good running back that can make a pretty big impact on the Kansas City Chiefs. that is the end of the video, guys. B Kelly out. Remember to smash that like button, turn them post notifications on, and subscribe.